Good morning. Winners never quit. Winners never quit, and quitters never win. Today's going to be a quick message, guys. Uh, I don't know about you guys, but man, it just seems like life is keeps coming, and life is always going to keep coming. And it's so important to just wake up one day and say, you know what? I ain't quitting. I ain't quitting. I don't care what comes my way, what gets thrown at me, good, bad, ugly, whatever happens, I'm not quitting on my dream. Whatever that dream is for you guys, just make up your mind today that you're not quitting, that you are ready to do whatever you need to do to make that dream come true, man. It's a crazy, crazy world that we live in these days. And it's just, sometimes it's almost unfathomable as to what we can end up getting put through, the challenges that can come our way, the different things that can, seemingly make, everything that we're trying to do become literally feel like it's almost impossible. Where is my screen and my mouse over here? And so I just want you guys to know that you're not alone. I think sometimes in life, nobody really believes that what they are going through is similar to what other people are having happen in your life. And one of the things that I can pretty much guarantee you is that if everything is going smooth for you and it's going great for you right now, one of two things is probably happening. One, you either have a challenge coming right around the corner, so get ready for it, or two, you're not dreaming big enough. You're not trying to accomplish something massive, because anytime you've got big dreams and big goals, big plans, there's going to be a lot of obstacles in your path. There's going to be a lot of things that try to stop you. And hey, believe me, if you're one of those people that is going through life pretty smooth because you don't have a big enough dream, I'm not down on you. I know a lot of people that are very, very content. They just, they get up in the morning, they go to their job, they come home, eat a little dinner, and they watch a little TV, they go to bed, they do it the next day. And that's all they know. And a lot of those people I have known for years and years and years, and no matter how much you talk to them, no matter how much you try to help them, start dreaming bigger and believing that they can have more, a lot of times they don't. Um, Once again, I'll go back to the beginning. I don't think any of us struck out when we were 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, struck out into life saying, man, I sure hope that I can get a job and work for somebody else for the rest of my life. And if I'm lucky, maybe I get to retire at 65, 70 years old and hopefully have a little bit of money saved up so that I can enjoy life. I just want the Honda Accord or the whatever. I'm not putting down any type of car manufacturers, but I guarantee you that those people that are just waking up and going to the job and then coming home and watching some TV, having some dinner, they aren't driving the car of their dreams. They're not driving the car that when they were 18, 19 years old that they envisioned driving. My wife just asked me a couple of days ago, what are your dream cars, Brad? And I realized when I started to think about it, that I had about 4 or 5 different cars that that are dream cars for me. One of them is a 1970 Olds Cutlass Supreme 442 convertible. My very first car was a 1970 Olds Cutlass Supreme hardtop, 2-door hardtop, 350 V8. Pretty cool car. But there was another car made that year that was an Oldsmobile 442 Cutlass Supreme. And it came with a 396. I think it was a 396 inch cubic inch big block engine, and can't stop, won't stop. And real quick, if he's still here, man, I wanted to say good morning, Deadwood. Good morning, my friend. I hope you are doing fantastic. Came across a real world asset project that I would really love to have you take a closer look at. I know that you are probably the foremost expert in real world assets. You brought Ondo to the channel and a couple of others, so I know that real world assets and the tokenization of real world assets, you understand how big that is going to be. And so I shoot you a message on Discord and share some information with you. The name of the token is called Trusted Smart Chain. Trusted Smart Chain, and it's got some incredible utility. And when it comes to tokenizing, helping companies tokenize real world assets, I think they are kind of one of a kind. So Deadwood, I'd love to get your opinion on that. But welcome, man. It's so good to see you, man. It's been a long time. Hope you are doing well. But guys, today's going to be a short stream. I'm not going to go on and on and on. Only you can judge. The fact that you're sitting here on this YouTube channel today and watching this video shows me that you probably haven't given up. But I'm just here to tell you, don't. If you're thinking about giving up, don't give up. One of my friends asked me the other day, how you doing, Brad? And you guys know me. I'm 99.9% of the time the most upbeat, positive, optimistic guy that you will ever run into, man. But I was having a day, and I said something like, "What's that song? The line in that song? If you're going through hell, keep on going." Well, that's what I felt like that day. But it's so true. If you're going through hell, keep on going, guys. Like you definitely don't want to stop, drop, and curl up in a fetal position down on the floor. If you're going through hell, man, you got to keep on going. You got to get out of that. You got to get to the other side. Something else that I've said a million times is, for every year for the last thousands and thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years, without fail, after winter comes spring. And after spring comes summer. Winter cannot last forever in your life if you don't quit, if you keep on going. Now, there's some people that have been living in a winter for an awfully long time, but a lot of that is usually self-imposed. But winter can last longer than we like. It can hurt more than we wish it would. And it can be more miserable than we ever thought possible. But I'm telling you, it's impossible for winter to last forever if you keep on going, if you keep on fighting, if you keep on battling. Something good is going to happen. And so the last thing I'm going to talk about here real quick is, let me run over here and share this screen again. Get over here. You guys have probably heard of a lot of these people. Some of you may or may not know the stories. But I was just, Googling this morning, inspirational stories of people's success. And, one of the ones that popped up that I hadn't even thought about was Howard Schultz here. Howard Schultz was one of the founders, the owners of Starbucks. And it says, before turning Starbucks into a global coffee empire, Schultz was rejected by over 200 investors. And I got another story that I'm going to share here in a minute that's a little bit more dramatic than that. But imagine what you want in life, and imagine that you are 200 no's away from having everything that you wanted in life. Would that get you more excited? I would hope so. See, I think that part of the challenge that we go through here on this life is we don't know how close we are to our dreams, how close we are to having everything that we want. We don't know. So I'm guessing that after he got 5 no's, 10 no's, 25 no's, he's probably pretty dejected. After 25 no's, trying to raise funds to launch this Starbucks company off the ground, is probably somewhat dejected. It might not have been that easy to go ask the 26th person, but I can guarantee you that, see, Howard Schultz, he wasn't going to those investors and asking them for permission to succeed. He wasn't going to them and asking them if it was a good idea. No, he knew what he had a hold of. And when somebody told him no, it was just, okay, they're not the right person. But I mean, don't get me wrong, he probably had some doubts along the way, and maybe he was even questioning his own sanity. But for the most part, he knew what he wanted to accomplish, and he was going to talk to as many people as he needed to. He knew what he was doing, what his big dream was, what his goal in life was, and he was going to make it happen. But my point is, he went through the 200 no's, and he didn't know that was going to be how many. So my point is, if he knew ahead of time, before he ever got started, hey, you're going to have to go talk to 200 people, they're all going to tell you, no, you're crazy, he'd have probably been a lot more excited, because he would have just started going through them. And I guess kind of that's my point, guys. Go through your no's, go through your challenges, face them head on. You don't know when all of a sudden you're going to run into the right person. You're going to talk to the person that has the knowledge, that has the money, that has the skill that can help you. You never know when it's coming, but it's never coming if you stop talking to people, if you quit pursuing your dream, whatever that is. So over 200 no's before he found somebody that was interested and helped him get Starbucks off the ground. J.K. Rowling. I don't know if you guys are Harry Potter fans, but me and my wife and my kids, we love Harry Potter. We've probably watched all of the movies, from 1 all the way through. Is it? I think there's 8 of them, something like that. We've probably watched all of them at different times. We probably watch all 8 once or twice a year. We get in the mood and we start watching them. When you realize that before the success of Harry Potter, she was struggling single mother living on welfare, and that her manuscript was rejected by publisher after publisher after publisher after publisher. And then I'm not going to beat a dead horse to death, but the last one I want to talk about is Colonel Sanders. I don't know if this will pull up, but you think Howard Schultz had it hard. Took him 200 people to find an investor in Starbucks. Colonel Sanders drove all over the country, basically offering restaurants his recipe for chicken, and if they would allow him to have their cooks cook his chicken there, that he would do a profit split with them. There's 1,006 or 1,009 restaurants that told him no. And then finally the 1,010th restaurant said, yeah, we'll do that with you. And that's how he got his start. And now, there's a Kentucky Fried Chicken in almost every city and corner all over the world. But he literally had to go through over 1,000 no's. And I guess my question is to you, what are you willing to go through? What are you willing to go through in order to have your dreams? In other words, do you have something in your mind that you won't do? Now I'm not talking about if it's legal, if it's moral, if it's ethical. I'm not talking about going out and robbing a bank or doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing. But if it's legal, moral, and ethical, what are you willing to go through to get to your dreams? And if there's something out there that would stop you, I guarantee you the devil knows what that is, and he's going to put it in your path. And that's why you can never give up. I like this picture. I don't know if you guys can see this picture, but it's literally a frog, all the way inside this bird's mouth, getting ready to get swallowed. But he reaches down and he grabs that bird's neck, and he's choking that bird's neck. Like, he's not going down without a fight. But folks, you got to figure out what it is that you would let stop you, and then get rid of that. Because I promise you, the devil doesn't want you to live up to your full potential. He doesn't want you to have the life of your dreams. he doesn't want you to show the glory of God in your life. He knows you intimately. And if there's something legal, moral, or ethical that will stop you from having your dreams, the devil will make sure that it's there in your life. And so you have to be willing to, once again, guys, you got to get to the point where nothing is going to stop you. If I ask you, hey, what are you not willing to do? You gotta be able to say there's nothing that is moral, ethical, and and a good thing that I'm not willing to go through to get to my dreams and to get to my goals and to have the life that I deserve, to provide the life for my wife and my husband and my children and my grandchildren. That there's nothing out there that will stop you. And guys, the world is an amazing place. And one of the things that I've found is, have you ever, this is a little bit of an analogy, but have you ever been at a grocery store? And if you've ever experienced this, but you're at a grocery store and there is a kid that wants a candy bar, and maybe this is a backwards kind of analogy, but the kid wants a candy bar and the mom isn't getting the kid the candy bar, so the kid starts throwing a temper tantrum. Well, if you give in to that kid's temper tantrum, what's going to happen the next time you're at the store? The kid's going to throw another temper tantrum over wanting that candy bar. The only way as a parent that you can overcome that is, no matter how loud the kid screams, no matter how hard he fights, no matter what he does, you have to not get him a candy bar. And the next time you go to the store, it might be similar situation, but usually it's a lot less. The kid does a lot less crying and a lot less temper tantrum throwing. And 2 or 3 times at the store where you stick to your guns and you don't give in and give the kid the candy bar, guess what? They quit throwing those temper tantrums. And I guess my point is kind of on the opposite side. Once the universe, once God, once the world knows that you aren't going to quit no matter what, a lot of times it quits throwing the obstacles in your path the same way that it was. See, once it realizes that no matter what it does, it can't stop you, then it gives up trying and it goes on to somebody else. And it tries to attack somebody else that's weaker than you, somebody else that isn't fully committed and that hasn't decided that they're going to have their dreams and goals no matter what. And so, guys, get there, get to that place in your life where no matter what, no matter how hard it is, no matter what you got to go through, as long as it's legal and moral and ethical and you're able to do it and love your family and provide for your family and just, I mean, even that, sometimes I say, I mean, like, I almost wish I hadn't said that for a second, because yeah, you got to provide for your family, but I can show you story after story after story after story where if people would have taken the safe route and they would have went out and, say gotten that job, they probably wouldn't have been able to achieve their dreams. There's a lot of people that, once again, like J.K. Rowling was, almost homeless, was on welfare. There's some people that have gone through some incredibly tough circumstances. Robert Kiyosaki, one of my favorite authors, a guy that wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and is now the author of dozens of books and has hundreds of millions of dollars in a real estate portfolio. Just an incredible entrepreneur. His wife and him were homeless temporarily. It wasn't for a long time, but they literally had to live out of their car. And he said that during that few week time period, everybody that they knew wanted them to get a job. And even they had moments where they thought about going and getting jobs. With their skills, they could have got some pretty high paying jobs, but they realized that if they went out and got a job, that security, that the golden handcuffs that paycheck would give them would cause them to have too much comfort and not enough pain in their life to drive them to do what they needed to do to create freedom. Because I love this definition of freedom. Robert Kiyosaki's definition of financial freedom is how long can you live the current life that you are living right now if you quit working? That's how much wealth you have. So let's say that your monthly expenses are 5 grand a month, and let's say that you've got $25,000 saved up, then you've got 5 months worth of wealth. Well, Robert Kiyosaki's goal was to have infinite wealth. Well, what is infinite wealth? Well, if you've got $5,000 worth of bills every month, but you've got um, $1 million in the bank, is that infinite wealth? No, that's still not infinite wealth. Technically, the $1 million would run out eventually. Try to do the math. 10 times 5,000 is 50,000. So 20 times 5,000 would be 100,000 times 10. So what you'd have 200 months. I mean, that's a long time. There's only 12 months in a year, so 200 months would give you a lot of years. You'd probably be okay for quite a while, but it wouldn't be infinite. But what if you had $1 million in the bank and you also had investments like real estate, whatever, gold, silver, Bitcoin, crypto, and those investments that you had created $5,000 a month in cash flow every single month. So you didn't just have a lump sum of money, you actually had income producing assets. Well, then you would have infinite wealth. Now, there's a lot that goes into that. I'm not saying that you would want to stay at 5,000 for the rest of your life. So you might need to increase that cash flow in order to have a better lifestyle and so on and so forth. But I love that. I love that definition because it's very concrete. So a lot of people are like, well, how much money do I need? Do I need 200,000? Do I need a million? Do I need 10 million? Do I need 100 million? And what I would say is figure out how much money your dream life would run, and then figure out a way that if you quit working today, you could do that for the rest of your life. And, for some of you that are 25, 30 years old, you need to plan for 50, 60 years. If you're 50 like me, 52 like me, maybe it's 20, 30 years. You never know. But that was Robert Kiyosaki's definition of wealth, is how long can you go on living the current life that you've created for yourself without ever having to work again. So with that, folks, I hope that this was somewhat helpful, somewhat beneficial, got you motivated. If you're going through a tough time right now, hopefully you realize you're not alone. Man, the world has been coming hard at me, and I hope that I am on the verge of the world realizing that I'm not giving up, that I'm not quitting, and I hope that it decides to go pick on somebody else here soon, and that a little bit of sunshine, comes parting through the clouds and lands on my family and I, and we can kind of get through some of the struggle and some of the life that has been coming at us. And I wish that for you too. I pray that good things are coming your way, that your breakthrough happens now, that it's right here, right now, that something good in your life starts to take shape. You meet that incredible person in your life. You get that incredible opportunity and you start to make more money than you've ever made. Whatever it is that you are dreaming about, man, I'm praying that it's headed your way. So with that, guys, I love each and every one of you. It was good to see you all. Thank you for being here. And we will definitely see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for the Trader Tuesday live stream. With that, folks, talk to you soon. Bye-bye for now.